Coming up in this episode of the KickCast, a portable laser engraver, a safe, renewable way to clean your ears, and the phone mount goes to space. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast, the podcast where we go out, find crowdfunding projects, and let you know if you should back, track, or sack them. I am one half of the show, Ktdata, and joining me is a man who did his civic duty today, the one and only Drew Tyler. How you doing today, my friend?
Oh, I'm very good. I did my voting today in my primary election, and I only voted for city council members because I didn't know enough about my mayor members. So,
your ballot had more than one person on it, or more than one position on it?
mine city council and mayor.
Mine only had the mayor.
That was it.
So, and I love how they send you like 5 sheets of paper just to vote for that. I'm like, oh, okay, can't we just do this online? By the way, I love the iFixit in Post shirt. Have you have you shown Mr. Human that shirt?
No.
The one time I made a joke about that, he thought I was serious, and he's like, oh, I hate those terms.
Well, one of my students saw me in a picture, the voting picture. They commented on, like, they said, like, smack my head, and I was like, well, what's funny about this is it's not what I tell them. Never say, we'll fix it in post. This is my job. I'm the one that does the fixing. I fix it in post. But I love it.
I don't know. You can fix all my videos where but most of that is like, what is the camera operator doing? He seems to be the dumb one in the situation. It's not the camera, it's the operator behind it.
I can't pick that.
It's like, why in the world did I frame this shot like this? This makes no sense. I just don't understand.
What was I thinking?
It's like, why is this overexposed, you dummy? There's a stupid meter on your camera. All right. Anyways, if this is your first time watching the show, yes, Drew and I make a lot of production jokes because both of us are just giant production nerds and we like pressing buttons and making things beautiful in video. So before we jump into our projects tonight, we have a couple quick pieces of news. So Drew, you missed, I wanted to get your input on this. So last week we actually talked about, or last episode, we talked about that Yancey Strickler, from the CEO of Kickstarter, is stepping down once they find a replacement. How do you feel about that? Like, do you think it's a good thing for Kickstarter, bad thing for Kickstarter, or?
I haven't had any problems with the way they've been going or what they've really been doing. I thought they were kind of making some good standard strides in the business. It seemed I had no. I guess I was not even worried that they needed a new CEO. Is he looking for other things to do?
Yeah, he's just like, hey, I've been doing this for 12 years now. It's time for me to move on to a different project. He's the last of the original founders that had an active day-to-day role in this company.
Yeah, as I say, somebody's got an idea for him, or pulling him out for something more intriguing. But I guess it could go either way. Somebody could come in and say that they wanted to shake things up and boost it and do something new with it. Although I think it doesn't need that. But it could also be that somebody comes in and screws it up entirely because they aren't ready for leading the greatest crowdfunder out there. I don't know. This is kind of an iffy moment.
Yeah, so that was interesting. Anyways, so that's actually pretty much the only Kickstarter news we have related to that. But we do have this news, and I thought they already had this, but apparently they didn't. So you know how I swear it used to be like every episode we're like, all right, Indiegogo's partnering with these guys now, and now they're partnering with these guys, and it just became like, who are they partnered with now? How can relate to this? What they have done is they've introduced what they're calling Indiegogo for entrepreneurs. And what they have done is they've consolidated all of their help articles, all of their videos, all of the tutorials, and all of their different partners and experts they recommend using for Indiegogo into two succinct places. But they still call it, I think they still say it's one, but I couldn't find a way to link from one to the other. So what they've done is they have the Education Center, which if you go into it, it's almost, I think they probably use Zendesk or something for this, but it has, you can search for resources up top, and then it has all their topics split into these categories. So you have creating your campaign, developing your product, managing your campaign, marketing and PR, planning your campaign, post-campaign and in-demand, and shipping and fulfillment. You can click on those, and those will take you to different webinars and stuff
Oh,
that you can actually
that's
go
for
in
almost
and
every.
yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have videos and stuff. Like this one is how to
So
do the
today it's
perfect
going to be
pitch.
me, Aditi, and my colleague.
And if you sign up for this, and this is probably why they did it, is you can download the video so you don't have to always be on YouTube to pull it up. But it's always on YouTube anyway, so
Interesting. I think they should have just taken a couple of our episodes, sliced them up, and put them in
yeah,
every
why
one.
not?
We talk about all these things all the time.
They could have done that. I mean, and then the other one is the experts directory where you go in and these have all their different partners and stuff. So they have the 4 main categories, or the creative services, marketing, prototype and production, retail, licensing and distribution. And if you click on them, they'll take you them and they'll also feature some of their experts. Of course, Aero Electronics, one of their biggest partners, because I mean, these guys like dump money into projects all the time. Like I swear every week you're on their blog, they're like, oh, we just gave 10 grand to this project that we liked and all that kind of stuff. So that is kind of a consolidation of all the stuff. And I honestly actually thought it was done, but I guess it's been spread out. So is this a good idea for them to just have a one-stop
Might
shop?
as well. Yeah, I mean, especially, I think a lot of people that are looking to launch campaigns are scouring the internet, right? That's kind of part of their like lead up to launch, is they look around for what's the best practices. When do you launch? How do you put these together? So people that are doing the campaigns right, putting a lot of time and effort into it, why not go right to the source? And it looks like Indiegogo has collected quite the playbook. It says, here's how you plan, here's how you develop your product, here's how you ship, fulfill. So this is a fantastic collection on the education side. And then even the expert side, they've always kind of had this nice collection of partners. So here they are in one place.
Yeah, I was really excited about the partners because I was like, well, I know Arrow because they're always talking about it. I can't remember if these guys have a Amazon or not, and then now you can go and check specifically for what you're looking for too. So that is Indiegogo, and they're for entrepreneurs. So if you search for that, I think that will take you to their page and give you all the information. All right. So the other thing that we actually talk a lot about, it's kind of related to that, are crowdfunding tips for success. So this article I found is so the Wilfrid Laurier University, I believe that's a university in Canada. What they did was they took 30,000 projects, did some number crunching, and did some analytics with it, and created an algorithm that apparently has an 80% success rate on predicting if something's going to be successful or not.
Interesting.
So there's a 5-minute interview on this on the CBC, the Canada Broadcasting Corporation's website, that you can actually listen to talk about this algorithm. And he's like, it's not foolproof because there's always some random thing going on that may change it, but it did give you they did give you a do's and don'ts and some trends they found that seem to align with a lot of the other things. So one thing, and oddly enough, Drew, a lot of this is stuff that we mention all the time. They do mention it's not magic sauce,
Right.
so you can't just apply it to everything, but these are a little more effective. One, having a video to describe your idea and that you're requesting for, setting a lower funding goal generally has a higher chance of success. Longer storylines, more information about the product, service, or idea. That's important. I mean, that actually even goes back to a news article where we had about last episode, where we were talking about that women tended to have more success. Women-led projects tended to be more successful because of the language and stuff they would use.
Oh, how interesting.
And that where, we're a lot of male guys are just like, they just dump the specs, but women tend to give you more of a story that people can connect to. And
right. Oh, that's really interesting. And it does make sense. The more information, more compelling and engaging, then sometimes that will persuade more than just here are the numbers, here's the specs.
Mm-hmm. And the last one is shorter campaign lengths. So if you guys have heard this oddly enough before, we've mentioned all of this.
Size matters.
Yeah, and if you don't want your project to succeed, do the exact opposite. that's what I listened. This funny thing is like, he's like, yeah, if you do the exact opposite of what you just said was more successful, you're going to be less successful. If you want good examples of that, always check out our Sacks of the Week.
Yes, we got so many this week. It was hard to choose, but we got a good one.
Yeah, so those are our quick news of the week. We don't have any KickCasts, which it's weird because last week, dude, we had like 3 of them. So if you have a crowdfunding project that you want us to mention, Just send us a Twitter length description of it and a link to the project, and then shoot an email to kickcast@ktdata.net, or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/kickcast, or at kickcast on Twitter, at night20, at ktdata. It'll get to us somehow, and we'll mention it on the show. All right, so for our first project of the night, I have to ask you, Drew, do you like lasers? Because I like lasers.
I love lasers. I think they're pretty cool.
All right, so you like? Do you use them when you teach?
I do not really ever use them. I used to play with them as a kid, but I think they're pretty cool still.
Okay, so those are just the pointing lasers, right? You know what are cooler than pointing lasers? Lasers that actually can burn stuff.
Burning lasers.
Burning lasers are awesome.
What?
So I remember one of the first lasers that I saw that could burn something was like in a university science lab. It was like super long, and they had to cool it down, get it all right, so it could just burn a tiny piece of paper. It's kind of crazy how far lasers have gone. They're still kind of big and stuff, right? Like if you go to an engraving shop, they'll have like this giant stand thing. Like I remember us interviewing this company that funded on Kickstarter that made custom belt buckles, and they still had it was about the size, a little bit bigger than a washing machine sized machine to cut those little belt buckles. And our first project of the night is kind of takes it to the next step, because the problem with those machines is if you can't stick it into the machine, you can't obviously laser it, right?
Right.
So our first project of the night is called the Cubio, and it is actually a compact laser engraver.
Look at that.
Look at that. So you can put it on a tripod stand. It comes with a camera tripod mount.
That small, so it's like a GoPro size.
Yeah, so it's super tiny. It weighs only 150 grams.
Oh, wow.
And there's 100 levels of adjustable intensity. So you can do a max of 800 milliwatts if you put it in their own enclosure, or 500 milliwatts when you're outside the enclosure. And you're right, and I'm not the most laser experty thing, but they give you a list of things it can burn and burn through. I love this chart right here. So it can engrave paperboard or cut up to 0.9 millimeters thick paperboard. Cardboard it can engrave, and it can cut up to 1.8 millimeters. So like you can cut a piece of cardboard that's 1.8 millimeters thick. Fabric it can also engrave, and that or cut up to 0.3 millimeters. Felt engrave, and you can cut felt for 2 millimeters, because I hate cutting felt.
Right.
It just gets messy.
I just turn that thing on and it'd be like, I'm scissoring up felt.
Yeah, and I think your buddy might like this. Is it can engrave leather or cut leather up to 0.7 millimeters. And then wood, it can engrave and up to 1.5 millimeters. Non-transparent acrylic and it can engrave, but it can't cut. And metal, it can't engrave or cut that. So it's not quite strong enough to cut metal, but cool, crafty like stuff you can pretty do. It runs on Bluetooth and a USB cable. So you just plug that in with the Bluetooth, and you're good to go. It has an SD card. You load up, and this is what I love about it. It uses G-code. So I know you're familiar with the STL and what's the what's the 3D printer code?
Like this is CAD stuff and STLs and that kind of layery stuff.
Yeah, so they use G-code, which is used everywhere for CAD, so you don't have to like make their own custom thing, or you can just go through your phone app and upload that. You can even so their app supposedly can actually take pictures or handwriting, and then it will convert it to G-code for you, and you can actually engrave a picture or something on like a phone case.
Just something that you designed or you come up with. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because the Kickstarter video, they showed that they took a picture of a dog, this black and white dog, and then they burnt it onto a phone case so they can walk around with their own custom phone case with their dog on it. And so I love this, how like mobile it has a couple features too. So you can always do your single one, and they have a preview mode, which is kind of cool, where it will shine laser, but it's not bright enough to burn anything, so you can kind of measure to see. Say if you were wanting to make your own belt buckle out of wood or something, and you wanted to see if your design would fit, you can actually play around with that and see if the laser is going to cut off before you actually do it, so that way you're not wasting belt buckles. It can
That's
do batch engraving. So what's nuts is one of the things they burnt were macaroons, like the French macaroon cookie things.
I love a good tasty macaroon.
So now we could have your face on it, Drew. So you
I,
could eat a
that would be
macaroon
fine
with
by
your
me.
face on it.
I'd pay extra for that.
um, with that, and they actually wanted to make it safety. So you're wondering about their enclosure, and that's why that can go up to 800 milliwatts. They're actually building an enclosure which they call the Cubio Shield, and it should have
Oh,
walls and a fan, so it allows you to ventilate because I mean you're burning stuff, right?
except right, yeah.
And a USB port that you can plug it into. But when you put it into that, its sensor can tell that it's in there, and it will up the intensity to that 800 milliwatts, so you can actually burn more stuff. And of course, I even love this is when you back some of these levels, they give you goggles. Like if you get the accessory pack,
Safety.
they give you goggles to wear because they're like, don't forget about safety when you're doing all of this.
Safety first.
Um,
Wow, this is amazing.
yeah, yeah, I love everything about this. What do you think? Like,
I feel like they've got. I mean, it's not just an idea, and it seems like they have a little bit more than a prototype. So it seems like everything they're pulling together here is like a crafter's dream. I would love this. I would burn the crap out of
yeah,
everything.
they even burnt seaweed.
I don't know if I'd go that far. But this is awesome. Like, what are the pledges at? Somewhere in the $300 range.
Yeah,
The basics.
so they're a little pricey, but that's still cheaper than a laser cutter. Or
Right,
like,
you'll exactly for personal laser cutter. This is unbelievable.
yeah. So
How are
what?
they doing?
They've funded beyond belief. Like they wanted 20.
But
So look at this low level. They want their goal was only 25 grand. They're at 183.
they're gonna have to deliver. Man, I love this idea. I really want more money. This is a back for me. This is absolute
Yeah,
back.
this one's a back for me too because I love lasers and I love the how you can apply this. Like, I mean, you and I both we're probably not the most crafty people. Like
Yeah.
when we need to cut things, it's in Final Cut. But we we know those crafty people who are like leather workers and like seamstress and stuff, and they're always putting stuff together, right? This I could see this totally working perfectly into their workflow. We're like, yeah, I really want to do a little more complicated designs, and then this laser cutter is gonna absolutely help them, and the portability and just the fact that you can stick it on a regular tripod
Right.
just opens up the possibilities for things you can do because I mean there once you put a tripod mount on something there are so many different options that you can pick to mount your
Right.
to mount it on stuff that it's ridiculous, right?
Do they have a max size of like the thing you can burn? Is we're talking like a square?
Let's see. I thought I saw them mentioning it somewhere. Um where's it?
All the creations. See what they go through. Let's see previews.
Well, yeah, they're
100
like
millimeters by 100 millimeters. Working distance. Working area. There it is.
yeah. So that's fairly big. I mean, it's 10 centimeters by 10
Yeah.
centimeters.
Yeah. That is big.
So, like, if you're burning something bigger than that, you probably want a full size laser burner or laser engraver because that's gonna work a lot faster.
Oh, I love this. I think
Yeah,
it's absolutely affordable. They looks like they backed. They said they funded in the first 3 minutes, so they must have done exactly what we tell everybody to do to have
yeah,
everybody in
and
line ready to go.
I love this because if you look at the comments too, they're not like somebody was like, I want to make my own Cubio shield, and while they don't suggest it and they remind you to be safe about it, they still gave him the details to build his own.
Very cool.
That's kind of a cool thing where they're like, you could sort of make your own and stuff, and they're pretty responsive on the questions too. Because some of these guys are asking like crazy questions. Like this guy's like, I don't understand why it's so expensive because you can buy a laser for $50, and they go into like, sure you can buy a laser for $50. You can't buy a full laser system for $50, and that's what you're buying from us. And all the kind of stuff. So, like, I think they're doing everything right. They got a video. The video is pretty cool. I was just watching stuff burn. Like,
I
um,
love it.
like you see this picture right here. It's a crepe or a pancake or something they were doing. And there was the same shop. They cut out "Happy Day" on a piece of paper,
Oh yeah.
and the guy put it on top of his cup, and then just like mocha or something onto the coffee, so it would be say "Happy Day" on the coffee when he gave it to the person.
Imagine being able to do that with like the date or just a different phrase every day.
Oh no,
That's some cool, clever
honestly,
stuff.
I'd just take a cut out of your face and put it on everything.
Yes,
So
drink a Drew mocha.
yeah, it's like, here's your Drew latte today.
I love that idea. This is a fantastic idea.
Yep. All right. So on to our next project. This is a little bit near and dear to my heart because I am a huge audiophile. So ear health is always important to me, and I think it's important to you too, right?
I love good ear health, but I could care less about ears on this one. I just thought, why has nobody done this already? So, like something must be wrong out there that this has never been done. But the project I chose for this week is called Ears. Triple E ears. It is a replacement for the cotton swab, the Q-tip, the things that you buy like 600 of, and you go through them like every 6 months. Like it takes forever to get through those. But at the same time, those are like little disposable things that are, I don't know, big wads of cotton you stick in your ear.
Which you shouldn't stick in your ear, by the way.
Which you shouldn't stick that far in your ear, right? This thing is a hyperallergenic silicone that just cleans the ear with rotation. Like you put it in, you do a couple of twists, you pull it out, wash it off in water, and you can use that thing as often as you want. There's just something about this that made me think, like, why has nobody done this before? Like I clean my ears out wonderfully with my fingernails. Is that gross? Because it fits perfect.
This is why.
But no,
you're already married. You don't care anymore, right?
Yeah, right. Well, I wonder. The only thing I do wonder about this is really the thing I use Q-tips for is to get water out of my ears after I shower. Step out of the shower, feel all kind of like it was kind of wet and weird in there, and I will stick in a Q-tip to dry it out, just so that I'm not like hanging out with wet ears. I guess this would probably do the same thing because you just give it a couple of twists. That silicone, grab all the water, you shake it out, wash it off, use it again tomorrow. I love it. Their whole campaign is very much like ecological. Let's be safe. Let's be effective. We can clean your ears. We can have ear health and save the world. And it's very much played up to.
Yeah. Were you expecting Sarah McLachlan to just start playing in the background too? Yeah. Anytime.
So aside from their pitch, which is like 22 billion cotton swabs get made every year, and we find 8 million metric tons of plastic in the ocean. Like I don't want to say I could care less, but that's not what's persuading me. Like it's not like let's save the planet. I just want to have cool things. I want to spend less on my Q-tips and have like a single, like right next to my shaver, right next to my shaving cream, and be like, oh, ear cleaner. Boop, 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 boop.
I have to ask you, how many Q-tips do you go through? I don't even remember the last time I bought one of those boxes of Q-tips. I know I have one, and it sits there for years.
We go through them all the time. I mean, twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, but I think I use probably 2 per shower. So there's like, what is that? Like 14 a week. 14 a week. That's almost 50 a month. I don't know who else in my house is using them, but somehow we go through one of those giant packs probably every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, that's nuts. I think the box I have is like 3 years old, and I'm only halfway through them.
Well, you have some method of cleaning your ears then that you've got to. I don't know.
It's really leeches. I put the brain slugs in, and then they clean them for you. It's great.
Easy. No, it comes in 3 colors. It's the that silicone. You pick your color. You can buy 1 pack, a 2-pack, a 3-pack. I just love it. I think they're well on their way, and I would definitely try this, especially for traveling. I always forget to pack Q-tips, so to have this be like, oh yeah, that goes with my toothbrush or my tongue scraper. Like, it's a set. Let's go.
Yep, I like it, and for this reason alone is you can't. So they've sized it so you can't push beyond the safe distance for cleaning your ears, which is was a good thing because you don't want to bust your eardrum. Or get the cotton swab stuck in your ear, because that's the embarrassing thing is when you have to go to the emergency room for them to pull out a cotton swab that's stuck in your ear, because they won't do it in front of you, but they will make fun of you.
They will, but yeah, eventually they will make fun of you. It's true. That's true.
Yeah, I like this idea, and just you can rotary, so
I'm backing it right now as we
you,
speak.
you could be crazy once you get one of these. You know how people have been eating corn on the cob using
Yeah,
a drill. So why don't you attach this to the drill, then put it in your ear?
super clean and some rug burn or whatever. You get like,
Hey, but that's a guaranteed like 1 million views right there on YouTube.
yikes.
So yeah, I like this. This is a back for me too, because I see people sticking Q-tips into theirs. I'm like, no, don't do that. That is not a good idea.
It's true. It's true.
So yeah, that's a back for me. They're about halfway there, but they got a month to go. So
Yep.
hopefully that's good. Just not a fan of the video. If you want a dry eye, don't watch it.
It was pretty heavy handed. Like,
So yeah, that was the ears with 3 E's and ARS. Not to be
ears.
confused with. I did a review of these custom fit earphones long ago, which are called My Ears, but I only think they use 2 ears, 2 E's. That so everybody only has 2 ears, right? All right. So for our last project tonight, this one was pretty close. Like, oddly enough, Rev tipped the voting scales, but he could have actually gotten the one that he wanted. We actually had a 3-in-1 hammock that if that was the one Rev wanted to vote for, and then somebody ended up voting for it like right at the last second too. So if you guys want to check that out, I should have put that as a kick shout. Wow, I named these segments. You think I could say them, right? But that one was called the Trio, a 3-in-1 utility hammock. So it's a hammock that you can fold into a little bag. That's pretty convenient. But you can use it as a hammock. It comes with ground ties, so you can use it as a blanket or a ground cover. And it also comes with other ties, so you can use it as like a rain shield or a
poncho or like
or
just hang it up.
You hang it up on the trees, so and then you can use it as like a sunshade or something too. And to get hammock modes, at the end of it, it has like those gym bags that you had, the drawstring bags.
Yeah.
The ends of both of them have the drawstring thing, so you just pull those closed, and then you have your hammock.
Interesting.
So yeah.
Wait, it's called the Trio?
Yeah, that one was the Trio, a 3-in-1 utility hammock that does it all.
Same name as the assisted living center near my house. It's called Trio.
So you go, hey, do you guys got hammocks over here?
So that's not what we're doing today?
No, that was not the one that was voted. The one that was voted, Drew, I love space. Like, yes, I'm excited what's happening in SpaceX and all that stuff, that maybe one day, if somebody pays for it, I might be able to go into space. Because
you love that.
I'm not going to be able to afford it. This is called the Space Cadet. And if you notice on the show, I tend to not mention a lot of phone accessories on the show because a lot of them tend to be for an iPhone or a specific model of a Samsung Galaxy or something. This one is a multi-positional magnetic astronaut phone mount. So it's actually a phone mount that you can stick on things, but it fits on all phones. What's cool about this is it's a 2-piece system. So one piece you put on your phone, it's like a knob thing. Like, have you seen all the kids now using knobs on the back of their phones?
Yeah.
I don't like it because I can't stick it into my pocket because you got a giant knob hanging off the back.
Right. I know it's a little too much.
But it has that, and then the other piece is an astronaut, and where his helmet is a piece of is a magnet. And then you can actually stick on it, and it'll stick on to that. And since it's a circle, you can actually rotate it in any direction you'd like. So you can do horizontal, or you can just turn it to vertical like that, and it just sticks. The other part I liked about this is how you actually mount it to the phone. A lot of these things have their own custom case, or you have to put a 3M knob on this. This actually has 2 ways of mounting the magnetic part to the phone. It has this version that has 7 tiny suction cups on it. Supposedly that gives you a better grip than just 1 suction cup.
It also looks like a rocket ship.
Yeah, you can stick that on the back of your phone, or it has your traditional 3M that doesn't leave a residue once you peel it off, but then it's not sticky anymore, right?
Right.
So just add moisture to the jelly surface to revive stickiness when it fades. So I guess you can revive it that way too. So if you want the sticky version, I personally like the Q-tip version, or the not Q-tip, the suction cup version of it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then you can just attach that to your car dash or anywhere you want, and the like there, like it's pretty much that's all there is the attachment part to the phone, and then the astronaut on the other side that does the magnet.
Cute. Super
Uh,
cute.
yeah, and it's pretty strong too. If they like, I love how a lot of people are using animated gifs or gifs
Yeah.
in
You get to
these.
see. You get to see it in action, and it's really easy because they just put that thing on loop, and it's like, oh, hey, I get it.
Yeah, so like
Very
I really love this. Is this something that you could see yourself using? It's super
Yeah,
strong too.
I've
Because like
I mean, it
look at
looks
this
really
one
strong.
where the guy does like this crazy U-turn and the phone doesn't move at all.
I love it. I think it's a cool idea. I feel, um, I don't know. My phone cases are like a one and done. I choose one and I move on for like a year. I've always wanted something to mount in my car, but I have this fear of permanence, and so I have a problem like sticking things to my car dash permanently, even though they're like 18-year-old cars. But I think this was a really cool, funny, classy way to do it. I love that space cadet with the metal head. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, like I loved all of that, and like that suction cup part was the thing that sold me, because I'm like, I know they say these adhesives aren't going to damage your phone, but part of me in the bag's like, well, that's an $800 phone there. Do I really trust this random chemical to just sit there
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the time? So that's why I loved it, and it's just really designed well, because you know, if you're not using it, they'll just think you have an astronaut on your dashboard or something.
Yeah, I think it's really classy. It's really clever. And most people now you expect to have something like that. You climb in their car and you'd be like, oh, that's their phone dock. But this one's cool. This is a
Yeah.
talker.
Yeah, and it's not that bad of a price. So I believe that you can get a solo pack for $17. So for less
It's
than
not
20
bad.
bucks. And cheaper if you get one of the early birds that they still have left. So this is a back tracker sack for you.
This is back. I love the idea, and I think that it's in the right spot, doing the right thing. Looks like they've got about a month left to go and a little bit of ways to go, but it looks manageable. $1,000 is a great goal for this.
They're about a third of the way, and hopefully they can get the rest of that by the time the project ends. All right, now it is time for our sack of the week.
There's so many. I don't know where to start. But we only doing one, but
yeah.
I think that they're hilarious.
So I've always joked that I'm never going to die, because in my lifetime I'm just going to download my brain into Google and call it good, right?
Yes, yes.
I don't
You don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. So apparently this project that we have on our sack of the week is artificial transfer. You do not need to die. Artificial transfer is capability to live forever, a clean start away of biological and cyborg. I don't quite understand the cyborg part of it, but okay.
It's an option. You can do that. It's just, it's pretty funny. So the idea here is that they are going to disrupt this what do they call it, further existence. So they're going to upload people in computer VR, surround, and download to an artificial body. And then when you have an artificial body, you don't have to drink or eat or all kinds of other things that happen to your body. You just get downloaded to another body.
Yeah, you're just bits. You're just
You're
bits
just
at that
bits.
point. So okay, the idea is probably a little far fetched, but there are a lot of other problems with this.
It says we believe we can reach our goal in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
If they're downloading people in 5 years, like make a save game, I just put myself in there.
I don't know, man. Like, how many times have you had a corrupt save file? Just, it's
Yeah, you get some corrupt
it's
people.
going to get to a point where you're gonna be like, it's like, whoa, welcome to the KickCast.
This is Ktdata version 16.b.
B.
I love that even after one of their like setups, after they explain the artificial body, there's just one line that says, "Space is waiting for us to explore it."
What?
I thought we were talking about AI.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I can connect the two, but that was kind of a jump.
Yeah. So, like, did you try playing the video?
No, I didn't try. Is it bad?
So it's not even their video. It is a YouTube song spoof that that goes with Battlestar Galactica, and I can't even remember the song. Oh yeah,
And Sound of Silence.
yeah, Sound of
from Simon
Silence.
and Garfunkel.
Except it's Sound of Cylons. This is a YouTube video that somebody made when Battlestar Galactica was on TV, and they just ripped it off and then put that as their project video.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, well,
Like-
for most of our sacks, they don't go into this much depth. Usually some of our sacks are like one line, one paragraph, and we kind of go, we don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
This one has risks and challenges and impact and the artificial transfer pricing. It's got, somebody's thought about this long and hard.
Yeah,
except for the reality part.
Yeah, it's just a little far-fetched because there's no data or information to back any of their claims, which worries me. I mean,
Right?
that's what I tell people is like, if a Kickstarter project looks too good to be true, you may want to see if there's anything related around it that's not just this.
There's something going on.
I mean, like, do you remember that scuba mask that supposedly would let you breathe underwater? And
I think so, yeah.
And then all the scientists were like, that's like, science won't let you do that for something that small.
Let's try, but no thank you.
It's like, science is not going to allow you to do this. We know.
It's pretty funny.
And I mean, even like, he has no tiers either. Like, so you're going to give them, they're looking to raise $100,000.
Oh, wow.
Or, yeah, that's $100 million. There's 8 zeros there.
They're not gonna get that. Holy cow.
$100 million, and they don't have any tiers or anything, so you're just giving them money. It's also flex funding, so they're gonna get whatever you give them.
Yeah. Oh, I found out why the Cylons are in there. If you wonder why Cylons are on this page, it's for Resurrection Hub they have and computer hold of existing forever. If something happened with your body, you get downloaded to a new one. That part, but idea is much bigger. So people would like you to exist as hologram. I say no, exist like Cylons.
So did they mention what kind of Cylons? Is it like the old toaster head Cylons, or is it one of those more like sexy ones that were in the reboot?
I don't know. They just the ones with the Resurrection Hub. I'm gonna make something just like it.
Because like I'm not sure I would want to survive as a toaster head one, because I'd be like toast.
Must have toast.
But yeah, my recommendation: please have a video. Please don't rip off your video from somebody else. And
right,
like,
it's not an accessory. It should really talk about your project.
Yeah, it should mention your project somewhere on it. And I'm pretty sure whoever made this spoof video does not appreciate you taking their video without their permission or any credit, might I add, on the page about that. And yeah,
this one's not doing any harm. It's not going anywhere.
Yep. But what's unfortunately is going anywhere is we're at the end of the show. So if you guys have any sacks of the week or any projects you want us to talk about, kick shouts or whatever, we're totally accessible. Shoot us an email, kickcast@ktdata.net or facebook.com/kickcast, or at kickcast on Twitter at night20 for Drew, so you can see where he is. Because I mean, he took a nice vacation out into the middle of nowhere where I'm like, you're crazy, dude.
It was pretty crazy. It was like, quite the adventure.
I'm like, I'm an inside human, not an outside human. So like, you're crazy, bro. Or at Ktdata for myself, where you'll see a lot of crazy things. Like I won't even go into this on the show, but I found this crowdfunding project, or I can't even remember if it was crowdfunding. It might have been pre-order for a sticker male contraceptive. I'll tell you about it after the show.
Yeah, wow. This sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it after the show. But yeah, all the cool stuff there. Drew, do you got anything to plug before we go?
Not really. I am just rolling back into school in a couple of weeks.
But if you do want to hire him to do nothing for he'll gladly take those offers.
I'll do nothing.
Yeah.
I'll do some nothings.
Yeah, he'll show up, but if you don't want him to do anything, that's cool.
It's what I'm good at. No, I'm doing good. I'm going to get into school and rearrange the schedule for fall, and that's all I'm putting my time into right now is figuring out how to survive the next thing.
Find some students that won't cut your curtains.
Yeah. It's been years, and he still hasn't lived that down.
I don't think he will. All right, so our next episode should be August 29th.
Okay. That's cool, yep.
And yeah, so if all plans go well, we'll be there, and hopefully Skype will work for us instead of us having to do stuff. But that's the life of a podcaster. So until next time, of course, we always like it when you guys watch live. So big shout out to Rev and DMAX who are over there too. You can always find that at live.kickcast.net or twitch.tv/kickcast or twitch.tv/Ktdata, where all the stuff is there. And that's it, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye.